Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be discussing Christian Pulisic, a few fringe players that Mikel Arteta has decided not to sell in January. And Charles Watts has also confirmed that Arsenal put in a lot of groundwork in the Danilo deal, and they hope it will happen in January. Noah Okafor is another player linked with Arsenal, and the Salzburg president has actually said, we hope Noah Okafor's price goes up, but we cannot rule out a sell for the striker in January. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's get it to 60,000 subscribers, and let's get this video to 400 likes. But in the comment section, the conversation is going to be very interesting here, guys. Christian Pulisic, Chelsea. What are we thinking? He was very good at Borussia Dortmund, and by the time I would have signed him, Chelsea invested a lot of money in him, and somehow he doesn't keep away from injuries. He's a good player, but what are your thoughts? What do you think about Christian Pulisic? I would really love to know. Now, let's start this episode by talking about Mikel Arteta's very big decision that he's actually made. He said many fringe players do actually want to leave in January, including Cedric Soares, including Albert Sambilokonga, and Takeru Tomiyasu, but he will not be selling them in January. They cannot leave in January, and that is confirmed by Sky Sports. So, what I'm thinking about here, guys, is I think many of our players do not understand where we are. At this point in time, I wonder why a player would come out and say, I want to leave. I don't want to be part of the project anymore. I don't want to be part of the team anymore. I want to go. In the summer, Cedric Soares received a lot of interest from clubs like Galatasaray and other clubs in Turkey, and he said, I want to stay with Arsenal. I want to be part of the project until the end. And now, it's January, and we have a lot of games to play, and we have a lot of, a lot to focus on. Players like Cedric are actually becoming hypocritical. For me, this is lack of integrity. It's absolute lack of loyalty from a player. At this point in time, when the team needs you the most, he's never been our main starter. He's never been our main right back. And I don't think after the signing of Tomiyasu and the signing of Ben White, I don't think Cedric Soares thought he was going to become the main right back after Arsenal signing those two. And now, I just don't understand where the fury and where the anger and jealousy is coming from for him to say, I want to leave, I want to walk away. It's purely unprofessional. I'm going to say this, Mikel Arteta here is absolutely right. We are not letting players go in January. We are not weakening our side. We actually want to strengthen. We want to bring more players in. With players like Albert Sambilokonga, I would understand. The reason I stayed we cannot sell him to Napoli is we have the same ambitions as Napoli. We want to win the league. We want to win our league almost in 2 decades. You can't sell your player to Napoli, who are also trying to win the league in almost forever, a period of time. So for me, Lokonga should stay. Cedric Soares should stay, and Takeru Tomiyasu should stay. The only player that I can let go right now is Marquinhos. If Arsenal do bring in a good winger, Marquinhos can leave just for his development and things like that. But the other players must commit to the project. They've already said, we're going to be here until the end, right? Whether there is interest or not, we can let them go in the summer. But for right now, I don't think we are ready to let any player go. Absolutely not. For me, it's out of the picture. If Arsenal do want to win the league, it's out of the picture. Now, we are talking about players that could be out of the picture. Christian Pulisic is one player that Arsenal are interested in. This is according to Fabrizio Romano. He says, Arsenal, I've seen that Arsenal are interested in Christian Pulisic, but I want to confirm Mikhailo Modric is their priority. For a winger this January, this winter season. So there is nothing changing in terms of that. But most stories actually pouring on the internet that Arsenal are interested in Christian Pulisic, and they would love to actually sign him in January on loan. Chelsea do not want to let the player go on loan. Leaving in January is not a problem. I think Chelsea are kind of frustrated with Hakim Ziyech and Christian Pulisic, and they will be able and lucky to find a buyer for these two in January. But Arsenal and Christian Pulisic, does it actually sit together? There is a question going on in the comment section. The conversation is actually continuing in the comment section. Let me know. Now, this one I'm going to say with Christian Pulisic. I love him. He's a very, very solid player. When he was at Borussia Dortmund, because I do support Borussia Dortmund, I thought we had one of the best players, one of the best young players in the world at the moment. The moment he switched to Chelsea, I still remember his first few games. He actually showed those small, bright sparkles of light, scoring a hat-trick, I think, in his first 5 games, and scoring a couple of other in a couple of other games as well. And I thought they have signed a magician, but a few problems that he actually has chased, that he has faced at Chelsea. One of them is the injuries that have actually kept him out of play for a very, very long period of time. And I think that has been one problem that Christian Pulisic wishes it never happened. For me, if you take away injuries from his game and period of Chelsea, he plays more, and probably we can get to judge him better. Right now, I cannot even judge him. I do not have enough information to form as a yardstick for me to judge him. Yes, he's good, but for Chelsea, he's been not that good. He's actually not done whatever Chelsea fans actually expected. So should Arsenal risk it and go for Christian Pulisic? Chelsea do not want a loan deal. So if we go in for him, it's a permanent deal. And Chelsea, can they sell to us at the moment when they know whichever player they give us, whichever player we bring in is actually helping us to win the title? I don't think that's going to happen. But the most important aspect here is Arsenal should not risk signing Christian Pulisic because we have so many other options available. If you're a Chelsea fan out there and you watching this video, you know what I'm talking about. Arsenal can go out, in the market, probably Diaby, probably Modric, whoever is available can be better than Christian Pulisic. And for one reason, Pulisic is always injured. That is the truth. We've seen him for USA. He's absolutely smashing it at the World Cup. And probably this is one of the reasons why, they're linking him with us. But can he stay fit? Can he do it for a very long period of time? Can he do it consistently? Can he do it for 30 games? He cannot. You look at players like Saka, does he even get injured? Players like, Gabriel Jesus, do they even pick up, injuries? They actually do, but they're more consistent on the pitch rather than consistent in the sick bay. Now, no player wants injuries into his career. No player would love to be, injury prone, and I understand. And if he signed for us, to be honest, he would actually bring a very, very different kind of style to our Arsenal team. One player that I'm very, very sure is very good at playing as a number 10. One player I'm very sure he can play for you on the right wing, on the left wing as well. And a player that I know loves to score a goal. I think he can be game decider as well. If he comes from the bench, he can change games. He's got that explosiveness about him. He's got that, quality with him that when he comes onto the pitch, you expect things to change. He dribbles, he takes on players, he can convert players in one area, creating spaces in the other areas of the pitch. And he's also good at working in tight spaces, something that is a characteristic of our game. We've seen Saka, we've seen Martinelli as well. Whenever they receive the ball, they're going to attract a lot of players to stop them, and then you have to work and maneuver your way through those tight spaces. He's very, very good at that. So for me, Pulisic, the talent is there. There's no question about the talent. The question is about the consistency. Like Arsenal, should we go in for Pulisic, hoping when he signs for us, it will all get better. He'll become a better player, more consistent, and all that. Currently, there is not enough data to convince us. There is not enough information to convince us. But he's one player on a good day. If he was still 23 at Borussia Dortmund, I would sign him, right? And I would be willing to invest more than £50 million in him. The only advantage with this deal is that Chelsea might be looking at him going to Arsenal as an advantage. They want to offload him. But then also, he might be one of those cheap options on the market right now. For example, I don't think Chelsea are hoping to get over 40 million euros. Something around 20 to 25 million euros will actually be very good for the deal, and it would actually happen. But Arsenal spending 25 million on Christian Pulisic after flopping at Chelsea, that is a huge risk. Unless Mikel feels and is very sure he can turn his career around. There are times when a manager feels, I can do that. I can turn his career around. I can make him a better player. Give me a chance, and I'll show you what I can do with such a player. If that's the moment, if that is the reason, I can't have problems with that. But if it's not that, Christian Pulisic, we should actually stay away. I hope I'm being logical here. I hope I'm not being biased, and I hope I'm being objective enough as well. Now, according to Charles Watts, Arsenal put a lot of groundwork in the Danilo deal, and they hope it will be completed in January. So Charles was speaking about all these rumors in terms of Danilo coming to Arsenal, reacting to a few of the tweets that were actually coming from Fabrizio Romano. And he said, look, at the moment, Arsenal put in a lot of work. A lot of groundwork has actually been done on this deal. I think it could happen in January, and Arsenal as well are hoping the deal happens in January. Now, this is what I want to say with the Danilo deal. Many people actually think Arsenal is on the same routine, just like we've always done. Arsenal interested in the Danilo, in the Danilo deal and all that. This deal is closer and more likely than the Mikhailo Mudryk deal. And I'm going to say that again. This deal is closer and more likely than the Mikhailo Mudryk deal. On Danilo, we are thinking and talking about a player who is now for sale, guaranteed by Palmeiras, a player who's ready to move, a price tag that Arsenal and Palmeiras are likely to agree upon, which is around 25 million euros, and a player that we know has less competition as compared to Mikhailo Mudryk. So the Danilo deal, however much many people are actually not giving it a lot of attention, maybe because many people want us to sign Yuri Tillemans over Danilo, but it's a deal that I see happen. 100, like out of 100, I would rate it around 70%. Out of 70% of the time, Arsenal do get Danilo. So Charles, they are giving us information that Arsenal put in a lot of work and they hope the deal actually comes off. Fabrizio, for him, is still on that stage where he says Arsenal interested. There is a very good relationship between the agents of the player and Arsenal, but there is nothing significant. In my opinion, it is Fabrizio Romano who is a little bit behind here. And I know most of you know how I love, trust, respect Romano, but there are times when he's a little bit behind. For example, on the Fabio Vieira deal, he was so behind on that one. Actually, it was George Nicolo and a few other Brazilian journalists that actually broke the story, and all the likes of Romano, Charles Watts were only riding on the wave. They were riding on the speed of the wave. They had no information about that. It's the same situation here. The journalists that I'm following on this one is Jacob Benz and George Nicolo. I think Charles Watts, Fabrizio Romano, and all these other journalists are actually riding on the wave. They do not have original information about the deal, but they're just waiting for the original stories to come out, and then they're riding on the wave as well. But look, I think this one, Arsenal can get it done. Whether we will get it done as early as possible. We can't get this one done as long as we keep the fire burning. Now, Arsenal interested in another forward. Mikel wants someone who is a little bit different from Edin Ketia and Gabriel Jesus. And Noah Okafor is one of the players that have actually been mentioned. Now, I'm going to say this. There is a lot of there is an increasing debate between players and managers and the staff. Today, we have seen Andre Onana dropped from the Cameroon side because he wants to play as a modern goalkeeper, and the manager at Cameroon wants him to play as a traditional goalkeeper. Now, it's the same thing here. Arsenal do want to get a traditional goalkeeper. I'm not saying Mikel wants a traditional striker. I'm saying we are looking for something different as well. We're looking for someone who can give us something different. And Noah Okafor at Salzburg could be someone to give us that. So the president at Salzburg was asked about whether the player is going to be moving. And he said, look, right now we are hoping that his stock rises. We are hoping that he does well at the World Cup with Switzerland, and his stock rises so that we can actually sell him for a bigger fee. For the sale, he said we cannot rule that out. With Salzburg, one of the things I think if you're a big fan at Red Bull Salzburg, they always sell, don't they? So if Arsenal want Noah Okafor, I don't think they will stand in his way. I don't think they will refuse to sell him. It's all about the price. It's all about the agreement, and you get the player. As simple as that.